Radio, it is time to head into the chat room, and joining me today is radio broadcaster Katie Wolfe in Darwin, and Shelly Horton is back from 9 Honey in Sydney. Good afternoon, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Today, for the first time, we've heard from Natalie Joyce, breaking her silence over the affair that tore apart her family. In an unpaid interview with Australian Women's Weekly, Mrs Joyce admitted to watching that cringe-worthy interview with Barnaby Joyce and Vicky Campion, who Mrs Joyce says destroyed her family and stole her life. And in the cruelest of blows, she's also revealed that during their marriage, Sebastian had always been their #1 choice for a boy's name. Katie, can you believe it?
I can't. You know, the hits just sound as though they kept on coming for Natalie Joyce. I think it must have been so distressing for her, and so many decisions were taken out of her hands by her former husband. But I think what she's done here is she's taken that power back herself, and she's done this interview. She's done it as an unpaid interview, but she's actually shown that she's quite a classy lady, in my view.
Yeah, and we've also heard some stories about her life with Barnaby beforehand, which was nice to hear as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice to hear a little bit more about her. I really feel for her, and I really feel for their daughters. They've not chosen in any way to be put in the spotlight, and I know that some could argue, well, she's chosen to put herself in the spotlight now, but I think she was forced into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shelly, you do have to admire her strength. She said that she's usually a very private person, but she wanted to show her daughters that their mother has a voice. Do you think it was right for her to speak out?
Absolutely, and I love the fact that it's an unpaid interview, which puts her at a moral high ground as well. But I also want to make sure that we're not making it Natalie versus Vicky, because you know what, it takes two to tango. I think we need to put all of the blame onto Barnaby. If you think about it, he could have said, don't use the name Sebastian because that was a name that my wife and I were going to use.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
that is just another example of how incredibly insensitive he has been in this whole situation. I hate to think about Natalie sitting and watching that interview, but if it was me, I would have watched it too, because you kind of need to know what's being said. But yeah, I would have found it really tough.
Yeah, she said that they did all they could to not throw a brick at the TV.
Yeah.
But that's it, isn't it, Shelly? You just think, God, you'd think he would have put her through enough, right?
Oh, come on. Like, we're not dealing with someone who's obviously considering anyone else's feelings except for his own. So I don't think we need to say a better person would actually make sure that they don't call their child Sebastian. We're not talking about a better person. We're talking about Barnaby Joyce, who is proven to just have a whole lot of lack of respect.
Yeah.
She must have felt like this overwhelming sense that she kind of had to defend herself as well, and sort of had to defend her decisions.
Yeah, she said she wanted to speak out and also to empower her daughters, so we respect to her for that. Okay, ladies, we've got to move on, and cyberbullying is a big concern for parents. Today, the New South Wales government ordering a review on the use of smartphones in schools and their links to cyberbullying and online safety. It comes a day after a Perth mother called for a mobile phone ban to be implemented in schools after her daughter was viciously attacked while being filmed. Shelly, what do you think? Should they be banned?
First of all, seeing that vision of that girl being attacked actually made me feel physically sick. Second of all, why do we need phones in school? We actually don't need them. I think it should be that you have the phones for safety before and after school. If you're catching public transport or walking home, you do not need them during the day. So I would suggest that the schools have a phone bin. The phones go in at 9 a.m. and then at 3 p.m. they can pick them back up again, because I can't see a positive of having them in the classrooms. Yeah,
and as you say, I mean, what do they need them for? But Katie, it starts so young. I've seen it already in my daughter's Year 6 class last year, a group of kids bullying a girl through Instagram group chats. But this was happening outside of school, so a school ban won't stop cyberbullying, but it's surely going to help.
I think it's going to help. It has to help. We've got to make some really tough decisions here, because at the end of the day, what is going on is not okay. It is not okay for children to film another child being belted at school. It's actually horrendous. And if we don't stand up as, you know, as people within the community with a voice and say that it's not okay, and actually say to young girls that you do not have to put up with this. And I know that the three of us would have copped social social bullying, on bullying or at least derogatory comments about ourselves on social media. It's not okay for you to use social media as a platform to do these things. And I would hope that, that implementing a ban in school may make a difference in some way.
Yeah, and also remember, we're adults. We've got thick and thin. We're talking about children here who may not have the defences that we have. But what about even the simple fact of getting them to communicate to each other in a different way rather than texting each other or
have their
using
head buried
Snapchat?
in their phones?
I actually want them to be communicating and learning that they can speak to each other without just having that zombie look.
Yeah, and cyberbullying is one thing, but also you could imagine not having your phone in school is going to make them more productive as well.
Of course.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? I'm actually surprised that they can have them in class.
Yeah, me too. Boggles. Okay, ladies, we'll take a quick break and come back to you in a moment, but first, it's time to say goodbye to Western Australia viewers. For everyone else, still ahead in the chat room, are children's books becoming too PC? And Elle under fire for her summer body diet. We'll discuss that after the break. Let's head straight back into the chat room with Katie Wolf and Shelly Horton. Now, from grandmas being eaten by the big bad wolf to Cinderella forced to do all of the housework, some of our favourite children's stories are scary and politically incorrect. But books these days, not so much, with one author warning our young readers are missing out. Katie, you're a mum. Are our children's books becoming too PC?
I think they are becoming a bit too PC. Isn't reading books with your children all about sort of talking to them about that book afterwards and educating them? Or
about
that's certainly the way that, that's certainly the way that we read books in our household. And I don't think that we need to sort of rule everything out that's not seen as being politically correct. It's about educating our children about what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, not wrapping them up in cotton wool. I mean, these days the most shocking books out there are all the fart books, aren't there?
Yeah.
There's so many of them. But
I enjoy those ones, Belinda.
You like those ones? But this is it. I mean, Shelly, what do you think? Are we raising a nation of wusses?
Look, I think that some of these books, when it's about a witch or things like that, and it's about scaring the kids, is not actually that bad because you need to have some resilience in your kids. But I do agree with some of the sexist things. I don't think we should have Cinderella does all of the housework, and in the Mr. Men books, it's a little Miss Bossy, things like that. So I think that we need to have a bit of a sliding scale, but at the same time, I hope that parents do what you're saying and talk to the kids about these stories. So we actually say things like, but you know that sometimes the prince, he does the housework as well.
Yeah, and the boy who cried wolf, I've used that one a few times.
Yeah, or you don't need a prince, you can actually do it yourself.
Yeah.
There's all these types of messages that you can actually then teach your children afterwards.
Yeah, and the whole witches and bedtime stories, it's probably not a great idea to be talking about those things just before sleep time, really, is it?
Well, my daughter would probably say, no, Mummy, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to listen to that one. It's too scary.
Scary, yeah. Okay, ladies, we've got to move on. It feels like winter has just begun, but some people are already thinking about their bikini bodies. Elle McPherson has been offering her tips on how to get in shape for summer. The supermodel slammed for suggesting skipping meals and having protein shakes instead. Shelley, does she deserve this backlash?
Oh my God, I do not want someone with incredibly blessed genetics telling me to have a protein shake and skip a meal. She's never had a problem with her weight. She's never had to worry about getting a beach body. And I'm of the belief that getting a beach body is you just take your body to the beach. There you go.
And don't forget the sunscreen, hey, Katie?
Well, in my view, I could have as many protein shakes as I like, but I'm still not going to have abs and I'm still not going to be 6'4".
But you'll still look great in a bikini, I reckon.
And I'm happy with that.
Okay, ladies, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. And thanks to you for joining us. Coming up next is the afternoon news.